How's that?
Okay.
Side by side?
Oh,
Too skinny? Should
wow.
go
Oh,
this way?
yeah, because I wasn't in frame. I don't know where I'd have to be. Hello, hello. Well, that was funny.
We're still adjusting here. There's
Oh,
so many options and choices to choose from, but I did figure out how to get the QR code up on the side again, so it's not right in front of us.
oh, I
Well, I
like it.
love your shirt. You were telling me about it, and it's so sweet. It's the antithesis of if cats could talk, they wouldn't.
Yes, yes. Although I did spend yesterday, one of our frequent visitors is Ruth, and she and her hubby Calvin were in Miami to go on a cruise, and I drove over. And I didn't get on a when we were laughing last week. I get on a ski-doo and wave, but I didn't have to do that. We went for coffee instead. And
Nice.
oh yeah, lots of fun. But wow, I forget about driving in Miami. Woo.
Yeah, it's a rude awakening after a little bit of being,
Well, and they're doing so much construction downtown where the Port of Miami is, and I looked it up at night and it said 15 minutes, and I'm like, okay, let me look it up during the day on my way there, and it said 20 to 30 minutes. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to leave way ahead. It took me 1 hour to get there. And literally, it took me 40 of those minutes was to go 2 miles because of the
yeah,
construction.
big city driving. You
I
know,
was like,
we live in this little town and we complain about our traffic. And then we take a quick jaunt over there to Miami side and you get a real rude awakening.
yes, I did on the way home. I took a different way home. I went down Biscayne and through Brickell, which is used to be just business and financial. And it was so vibrant. I do miss that. There was the crosswalks going not only across, but in X's so people can
Oh,
go across and it's all stopped. And there were doggies and walkers and people with their strollers and people in
nice.
offices running across the street. And it was just like, I do miss that portion of it, but
Yeah.
only that portion.
Those crisscross walks, I see them in videos sometimes from like Japan and stuff. I think Asian countries have those kind of walks. And, I'll watch because they just have a huge volume of people. And you watch those folks, just everybody going all which ways. And, it works. It works without any major catastrophes. It just seems like that many people in a intersection.
They get used to, I guess, the flow. Because I mean, even over here, sometimes I laugh when you're going to cross the street and you're like, "Oh, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me." You didn't see any of that. It was just like, "Broop, broop," you know.
Right.
So
So we give a shout out to Ruth, who won't
yeah,
be
she
joining
is.
us today, but she's out there having fun and maybe
Yeah,
she'll listen to this at some point and know that
it,
we
and
gave her a shout out.
it was so good to see her because honestly, it'd been since 2019. Like I love Zoom and I love to work from home, but sometimes those real people hugs, they're just fabulous.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you on that. So when we were getting on, you said that you're in a new room
I
and you
am.
were getting situated. I like it. I like the is it a wallpaper in the background? Curtain? I
Curtain.
can't curtain.
It's a closet that the doors the doors aren't appropriate because then I can't stuff enough stuff in there.
When the doors can't contain what's inside the closet.
Ah, yeah, I do have a little bit of stuff. For
Well, it's nice though. It looks nice.
thanks.
That's why I commented on it. It, things get distorted in a picture, and so I was like, I don't know if it's like you've seen those wallpapers, textured wallpapers. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, this is a textured wallpaper. She's got her diffuser in the background.
That's one of my favorites, the owl. It's just like, oh yay. I mean,
Cool.
I have fancy ones, but sometimes I like whimsy, of course. So
Well, I moved to another corner of the house too. I was like, all right, I really need to get off the dining room table for a number of reasons. One, it ties up my dining room table. I can't do puzzles when my computer's on. And then also because it's counter, I want to say counter height, if not higher, it might be even higher than counter height, but it's one of those tall top tables, high
right.
tops. And the stools in order to sit at it are, short people. I know you're short like me. Short people can probably agree with me on this. Stools are not your friend.
I
Because
agree with you.
yeah, your legs are just too short. They're too short to sit on to even reach that. My ex-husband would say, "Well, there's a little step right there you can put your feet on," and it's like you don't understand. I can't reach that either, and it puts pressure on your back.
Yes, it's
So
all.
there was that,
I have
and
that kind of table in my kitchenette, but when I do go there, I stand. And sometimes I like to alternate, but this I can no longer move because it is a real PC.
yeah, they that chair too was wood.
Uh,
And I had tried different pads, but and I would stand, because it is really good height for standing. But you know what? When you're doing a lot of typing, standing and typing, it's awkward for me. So, and then I couldn't, my butt was just, it was wearing holes in my sit bones. I'm like, I have to do something. So I scouted around to see where I could move the computer temporarily till I can figure out where I can actually set up a desk in my little condo. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move to the kitchen table right next to the front window. So it's kind of fun because I can wave to the people, but,
yes, yes.
and I had to get a new chair because the chair we had in there wasn't the right height either for,
Is that adjustable?
so I did. I got a new chair.
That is it's actually beautiful, and I'm a little bit jealous. I need one because I am using a wooden chair that I have.
I wore so many of those things out trying to sit on cushion.
One on my butt and one on my back.
Yeah, and I wore
Yeah.
those little boogers out, and then I would stuff it with fluff, and then I'd wear that out, and oh my goodness. So, yeah, I told my daughter yesterday, I said, "Okay, so I am going to get a good chair, a really good chair to sit in, one that goes up and down so it adjusts to wherever I'm at." And I said, "So I'm gonna go online, and get
Oh,
something."
okay.
And she's like, "A comfortable chair purchased online." She's like, "What could go wrong?"
What could go wrong with that?
She's like, "Shouldn't you go to a store and like sit in the chair and make sure it's comfortable?" And I said, "I got a plan." I'm going for a gaming chair because gaming chairs are made for people who sit for hours in a chair. Those things got to be cushy. They've got to be the most comfortable chairs because they're gaming chairs. And
Gwen the gamer.
so my daughter said, "I think you might be onto something there." So yesterday, my gaming chair was delivered. I did it through an order service. I actually I got it pretty cheap, or it was on sale. Staples had it on sale, and it had rave reviews. But I use Instacart for delivery on some stuff, and I'm like, they do Staples. Let me check them out. They had a better price on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I got a better deal. So, and I had it delivered right into my front door. So I didn't have
Always
to do
good
any
because
heavy
I was
lifting.
thinking, did you have to put it together?
I did have to put it together, and that was one of the things they did say on there was a lot of people complained that putting it together was somewhat difficult. And I'm like, yeah, I've put lots of things together.
Now,
I
are
have
you
to
a
say,
direction reader or are you, oh, I don't need those darn
no,
directions.
I'm a direction reader just because when there's parts, I want to make sure I put all the parts in the right spot. And whoever wrote these directions, I don't think the person who actually wrote the directions actually assembled the chair. Because I agree with the people, and I'm going to put it in the feedback the proper way to assemble this chair.
So
And
if I buy the same chair, I can just Zoom with you and you can help me put it together?
yes, anybody who buys the gaming chair from Staples,
You gotta send me the link because
the
I've been looking.
merge.
I've been looking and I need one because
I'll tell you, it's really nice. I like it so far
okay,
already out right out of the box.
right out of
So,
the box.
yeah, I'm gonna post, and anybody who listens to this who hears it, put the arms on the seat first.
Ah,
No, that's how they want you to. They have you build the base, put the seat on, attach the arms, and then try to put the back on. And
okay.
you can't see the holes to
Ah,
screw into it. And so the best way to do it. So I ended up taking it apart. And what I ended up doing, and it went together like a breeze, you put the arms on the back first, then you attach the arms to the chair, the bottom, then put the chair on the base. So it's not rolling all over the place while you're trying to screw things together.
you are brilliant. I'm gonna say, oh my gosh. Okay, I need that.
You take the directions and do them backwards.
Okay. I only brought up the direction thing because a thing, you know how you get stuff, your memories from this day on Facebook, and
Yeah.
it was us trying to put together a one of those things you have outside that you keep stuff in that's waterproof and it has a hinge lid, a
Oh
box,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and we wanted it like for the cushions to take them and throw them in there. So, and I'm like, don't you want to read the directions to Michael? I don't need no darn directions. And then there's another picture that's like him going, what are these extra parts for?
Isn't that the best? That is always the best. You know, my ex would do that too. He's like, I don't need directions. I don't. And then he did that. Oh, he was over putting in my light not too long ago. And he's putting it in. And I always get nervous when it has to do with electric. That's why I had him do it. Right. And he's tall. So otherwise, I'd have to be standing on a ladder or something. So he's putting it together. And I walk up and I look on the counter and there's parts. And I'm like, and he's almost done. I was like, why are there parts? I'm looking at the directions. I'm like, these say these should be here. And he's like, well, I really couldn't get those on. So I just kind of did it the other way. And I go, what other way? There's only one way to do this right. And he's like, well, wouldn't, and I said, you have the part upside down. And he's like, oh. So he takes it down. We look at the directions. He puts it together. No parts left over. So did
You,
Michael have to take it apart?
yes, a little bit. And then it went together much easier. It made me think just now, is that the same way? We don't need it so much anymore, but in the days of maps, as I date myself, in your car, and pulling in and just asking for directions. You know, there's a
Yeah.
gas station. Let's just stop. You know,
I
whoa,
don't know. Sometimes they'll fight the GPS
oh
because
no.
they know. They know. Got
Well,
into
sometimes
traffic.
you have to because the GPS can sometimes send you around and tell you to turn around. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know where I am now. I don't
Right.
need to anymore.
Well, I've used it on long trips when I get caught in traffic.
Right.
It'll reroute me. Like when
Yes.
we evacuated for Irma, that thing was a lifesaver. Man,
Mm,
it was routing us around all kinds of stuff.
yes,
Things we never would have found.
right. I have used it to go up to a friend that lives on the other like, from this coast, on the other side of Orlando, and when there's, like, that section is all backed up, and they're like, "Would you care this alternate route?" And I find some really fun small towns and
Mhm.
everything, and it does. It saves you time and the headache of being in that,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, I-10. Oh my
Mm,
gosh. That thing is always there's, like, always an accident, and it's always backed up going in both directions for the car can just be stopped on the side of the road, and it'll be backed up for 10 miles. You're like, "What? This must be horrible," and then you're passing some car that's just parked there, not doing anything. And you're like but everybody's slowing down to take a look. I-10
yes,
is the worst. I think it's is it because it doesn't have any exits off of it? I mean, I just or it's the only highway that cuts across all ah,
right.
ah,
Yes,
it's
yes.
hard.
I was wishing yesterday, like, and I was looking at 75 going, "There's that whole center line. Why can they not just put a monorail between the East Coast and the West Coast in the center of 75? Because you're not disturbing any more ecosystem that way. It's already
You
all."
talking the Naples to Miami one?
Yeah, it's just, and they're paving, so it's like, "Oh,
Oh.
yeah, oh."
Oh. Well, they finished it's funny, we went to Orlando not too long ago for, I think doctors or something. But we were up there not for the Disney, not for the theme parks. And I remember they had just finished. They've been working for years on that new highway, right? All the
Right.
new lanes and all the new everything here, there, and everywhere. And when we were going up, it was getting kind of in the evening, it was darker. I was going to say late, but it wasn't. It was just wintertime and it was dark. And there were police, the sheriff and city police at every exit and entrance. And it was like, wow, is there like a manhunt going on? So when we got to the hotel, I did a quick search. All of that engineering, and they got it so screwed up that people keep turning and going the wrong way on the freeway.
Oh, wow, how
So
dangerous.
they
Oh
had to
my
put
gosh.
police on the corners to stop people from getting on the freeway the wrong way.
Wow. Wow.
It was crazy. And then and I could see how it could happen because when we were leaving, I was coming up, turning right. Okay, so you would assume you're turning right, you're getting on the freeway, which I was, but there was nothing that said I was getting on the toll. There's a toll section of it. Like there's the free section and then there's a toll section. And this particular entrance puts you on a toll. I had no idea till I got a toll charge in the mail. There wasn't a toll machine. There wasn't the overhead. There was nothing. All of a sudden, I've got a toll bill in the mail.
You don't have SunPass?
I do, but I didn't bring it because I was
Oh, you have the one that comes off and on?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, we have the sticker now.
Yeah, I probably should just do the sticker because there's been a number of times I'm cruising along and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, I should
Yeah,
have grabbed that."
with the sticker, you gotta be careful 'cause, to remember, like, when Krista had an accident up in Fort Myers and they totaled the car, we went to the, place they towed it to and peeled that sticker off because somebody can, if you don't remember to deactivate it, that can just run up,
Yeah,
like,
right, I could see that.
yeah,
So,
but
yeah,
yeah,
so I'll have to do that. So, anyway, yeah, be mindful if you're in Orlando, the city, because that's where all that new freeway is, and, yeah, it's a little tricky. It
it
looks
is tricky.
wonderful.
It's always been tricky. A few years ago, I went there and I went in and it at night, and I was gonna stay overnight at Friends of Krista's. I it was so confusing and there was so much construction, and Google kept telling me, turn around. Finally, I saw a mall and I pulled in and I called and I'm like, Vanessa, I'm right here and I'm in this part of the parking lot. Can you come get me and I will follow you home? And they
Right.
did, bless them. Oh my God.
Yeah, the GPS couldn't keep up with the changes because they kept rerouting and changing
Right,
everything that
right.
yeah,
Uh,
that's crazy. Excuse me. GPS too, what's funny about that is I have used it on occasion to find something local, and it's taken me down a dead end road. And I'm like, I'm thinking the guy who was, because they have a car that drives those routes that,
oh, do
and
they? Is that how they do
that's
that?
how they record it.
Okay.
And because I've seen the cars go by, they've got the little satellite thing on the top, and you can see that they're, you know, tracking it, tracking the car. And I think they forget sometimes to turn it off, and the guy must pull off to have lunch or something.
I've seen the plane go overhead. I've
Have you?
seen but I've not seen the cars. I'm gonna get some
Yeah.
reflective stuff on the base of my driveway, so then it just bounces back at them. Wonder if that'll confuse it.
I don't know. I don't know. But hey, I got something to tell you. I've been waiting all week to tell you this because
Okay.
it falls right in line with everything we're talking about. Okay. It's like a bad joke. Women all appreciate this. It's like a bad joke, a men joke, bad woman joke, whatever you want to call it. You
Okay.
tell me. So anyway, I go to the local home improvement store. Well, I went online and I ordered a flower pot, a 10-inch flower pot, because I need to transplant some of my plants. And so I went online and ordered to pick up my flower pot.
Right.
So it took them some time, but I finally got a thing that said it was in. So I went to get it. And when I get it, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I could have swore I went with a little bit bigger one than that. So I'm like, okay. So I take it home and I look at my receipt, my online receipt, and I did. I ordered 10 inches. This thing says 6 inches. I start laughing to myself. I wonder if a man pulled that one. Okay, but it gets better because I have to take it back now, right? So I take it back. It's a guy that helps me. And I say to him, I ordered, I kid you not, this happened to crack me up. I said, I ordered a 10-inch pot and I ended up with a 6-inch pot. And he looks at me and he says, are you sure it's not 10 inches? It was all I could do to not laugh. I'm like, no, sir, it's 6 inches.
Oh
He's like,
boy.
well, if you're sure. I got in the car. I told Misty. She just started laughing because we all know the joke, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so did they have your actual nest pot or you had to
They, I ended up getting
or did they try to
they,
sell you 2 5-inch pots instead?
a 3 inch and a 7 inch. It's the same thing, right?
Well, no,
Now
yours
they ended
is
up
6, you only
refunding
need
it.
4.
I told them all I want to do is exchange the pot for the one that it should have been. And
Right.
he's like, he looked all confused and he's like, no, I got to refund this. I'm like, okay. So he refunded it. I go in the back. He's like, you'll have to go to the garden section to look. Now, mind you, remember this pot, when I ordered it online, the store didn't have it. I had to wait for it to come in, right? So I'm like, well, let's see if so I go around. I go and look, and it's not a 10-inch. It was, I want to say it was like 7 or something. There's another size between the 6 and the 10. So I ended up with like wasn't quite the 6 and it wasn't the 10 was something. So I want to say it might have been a 7-inch because it is definitely bigger than the last one. But when I measured it, it wasn't 10. I forget what it was.
Word
8.
to
Maybe
the
it was 8.
wise.
Maybe it was 8-inch.
Right.
But yeah, I'm like, okay, this will do. This will do. Because the other one wouldn't. I was like, I already have a 4-inch pot. That's the pot. That's the pot I want to repot from.
Right. What are you repotting?
I bought. I love buying stuff online. I wanted to. I love bottle brush trees,
Oh, yes.
especially the weeping ones. Okay, because we've had the bushes before. We've had a weeping one before, and I'm like, I really miss my weeping bottle brush. And they're really good for butterflies and hummingbirds. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be kind of pricey to get the tree. I'm going to have to pay to have it put in. And remember, I'm at a condo, so I don't want to cause a lot of, because that's common area. You really shouldn't be putting in trees. So I was like, how can I do this? So it's incognito. I mean, because neighbors do. People have done some landscaping, but like I said, they might get weird about trees. So I'm like, how to do this? And then Spirit just kind of popped in this thought. I bet you could get a seedling. I was like, seedling? Do they? Yeah, they do. They ship seedlings. Used to do it up north. I'm like, because I did it for a hedge. I was like, so I went on, did a quick Google search. Sure enough, here, I'll get it for you. And they're kind of a fast grower.
Oh, yes, it's beautiful. And you know what? You could even bonsai it so that once it grows and you can control the way, and even wire, you get the wire and you can control the way the branches will grow.
Oh,
That might be.
But I'm pretty excited.
I love them. We have one here. I'm going to have to look for seedlings. We have one here, but in our house in Miami, we had them outside. They were on the berm of the road, like every few feet, and it was always so beautiful. And then we had one inside, and it was like Krista's favorite tree because it's easy to climb. And then we would make necklaces out of the little, when they have the little whoosie whatsies, seeds. The whoosie whatsies.
The whoosie whatsies.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I ordered my tree online, and I'm like, I got to put it in a pot. I got to, because you can't just whip one of those little guys into the ground. They don't do so well. So
right.
So
I had friends admiring our plumeria, and I was like, I remember as a kid, my mom had it in a pot and she would roll it in and out because it's not but you can keep those small as well.
I think most things will, you can keep them root bound and small, and, to the bonsai kind of thing that you said. Because like money trees are real popular for that. Because
Right.
those can get big, but if you keep them in a small pot, you can keep them.
Oof,
But
need
I
a
want
couple of money trees for sure.
yeah, but I want to see this little baby. I want to see it in its full glory, weeping
Oh,
along in the backyard.
yay. It'll be beautiful. I remember Burpee, I think was the name of the seed company that we used when we lived up north. I think that was it. And then there was gardening ones that you would order, but I never thought about doing it down here. That's so funny.
Yeah, I didn't either, and because I think it's because there's so many nurseries and everything grows wild and crazy, and I tend to propagate, is that what you call it? I
Yes.
propagate a lot of my plants,
Right.
but, and Shelby's, like I said, over at his place, he's got the bush, and I'm like, I like the bush, but I really want, because you know what? That was one of my favorite trees up north when I lived up in Michigan, was the weeping willow.
Oh, yes.
And so these trees remind me of those. And then you get the bonus of those beautiful red flowers.
We had a weeping willow, not on our property, but there was a stream, and we lived in the country, and back then you could walk through your neighbor's farmland and everything. It was, but and all the kids would go to the stream and play, and we would use those and go out and drop into the swimming hole. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
Sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah, weeping willows. So yeah, like I said, that joke I just had to.
And I missed you yesterday because I was on the road, and I was like, oh, I miss our Thursday spiritual communities business meeting, and
Yeah, I missed you there
my
too.
alarm went off, and I'm like, ah, I can't get on. I'm driving in this traffic with I don't want
I
to be
need my
looking at my
wingman.
phone.
I need my wingman because I went to go edit the recording of the meeting to
Right.
send out to the members that couldn't be there, and as I'm as I'm editing it, I find that the whole video I played during the meeting for the strategy tips, the volume didn't pick up for some reason. I even put the sound. I had the sound source thing, but it didn't. I was like, "Where's my wingman? She would have caught it. She would have said, Gwen, we can't hear it." So I had to
Okay.
improvise. I cut it out and just improvised with it.
I'm going to tell you something funny that I realized. And I was doing a guest something, and people are like, we can't hear you. You're very, very far away. And that was because I didn't realize that I had the Bluetooth speaker on, and the speaker was on my desk, but I was away from my desk. And I'm hearing everybody, and I'm hearing myself. And I'm like, hold on a second. So now I know to check, like even today, I'm checking, okay, I don't have Bluetooth, and I don't have my ear plugs plugged in, because I'm like, oh, word to the wise.
Yeah, it was funny. There was a couple of different glitches, and I'm like, "Well, this will work well because I'll just edit it all out, and no one will ever know." Well, I guess somebody will know now. So
Oh,
yeah, playing with it, it was fun.
yeah.
Um, what else did I want to share? Was there anything else? I don't think so. Other than I love seeing you.
I know. Oh, yes.
I
Yes.
remember what it is. When I was
What?
doing the meeting yesterday, I
Okay.
was going over the notes and I went over to YouTube to look at our statistics. And this is going to be a shameless prop for, I guess, our program. When I was on the Spiritual Communities Network YouTube channel, we had 3 of our programs were in the top 10 or top 10 of shows that were listened to last month. So people are going on YouTube and re-listening to us or listening to us for the first time. So
Everybody leads a little funny in their life. That's the thing.
yeah, or and even if it's just that you need some kind of mundane something in the background, because I'll tell you what, I was watching something on TV. Oh, was it Paddle Bats? Yeah, I was watching Battle Bats. I love watching Battle Bats. It's these kids. Well, some of the kids are growing up now, but the new ones coming in are kids. They're usually like MIT. They're the brainiacs that build stuff, and they build
Oh,
robots.
okay. Yes.
Robots,
Okay. Got
and
it
so
now.
the robots they fight them, and it's called battle bats. And so it's insane to watch these things fight because they're like 200-300 pound machines, and they'll just hit each other and fly 10 feet in the air, and you're like, holy crap. And so it's fun. It's like watching it's like almost like a video game for them, where they build these things and they're expensive and they're huge, like I said, and dangerous. So they have them in a protected area, but they control them remotely. So it's like a live video game, right? So it's interesting. So I was watching that, and then right after that was because it was a recording, so it picked up the beginning of another show, and it was something Rober, somebody Rober. I sorry, Rober, never heard of you. He starts up and he's introducing himself, and he's saying how he's a um, ex NASA engineer. Da 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 da. He's on YouTube. He does a lot of YouTube videos where he teaches kids about science. And so he now has a TV show for it. And so I asked Misty if she recognized. She's like, "Oh yeah, he's like the hottest thing on YouTube. He does all kinds of crazy experiments and that kids can, kind of duplicate on their own and stuff like that."
That's
And so I was watching the beginning part of it, and she's like, "That's weird that he's on TV. Why would he go to TV?" And I said, "What a great family show."
right.
Because that would get, instead of the kid being on watching YouTube, you got the whole family watching TV doing this. And she's like, "Yeah, I suppose." I said, "And you know what? I have this really," it was strange because as it was playing, I felt a calmness. I was like, they don't really do programs nowadays where you see somebody who's just having a whole lot of fun, laughing it up, and not at the expense of somebody else and not, weird stuff. It just was really lighthearted, fun. He was enjoying himself. And I don't know, it just had a real calming effect on me. I was like, they really, hey, TV execs, if you're listening, you need to do more of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That sounds great. Now you reminded me of one of the shows I used to love as when Krista was little was Zaboomafoo. Zaboomafoo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, this guy reminded me of Bill Nye, the science guy.
I liked him too. Yes. Yes.
So this is,
Yeah.
I guess, like the new Bill Nye.
The science guy.
He's got some Disney stuff. He's on some of the Disney rides. Bill Nye, the science guy.
Yeah, I like that kind of entertainment as well, and I'm 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 finding myself gravitating more towards that, which maybe other people are too, which is why Funny Fridays is now a popular thing.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if we
Yeah.
can get some traction.
So, and I was noticing we're kind of color coordinated today. It's like a good lively colors for Friday. Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely. So, let's do a plug. I'm Gwen Peterson. I'm the founder of Spiritual Communities Network and the creator of Insights and Illuminations. And my wingman here is
Denise Flood from Change Your Frequency, Change Your Life for Funny Fridays and beyond. Oh,
follow us on YouTube if you like. Leave comments, like our videos. YouTube likes to know who is, who's watching it. If you like it, we welcome that, because I don't know about you, Denise, but I do a lot of, yeah, you do a lot of them too, where you do a lot of programs where it's just going out into the void, right? And sometimes you wonder, is there really anybody on the other side of the void? And every once in a while, I'll see a comment or an email or, different things come through that reaffirms, yes, there's
yes.
somebody there.
Yes. Yes. Now that song, Hello.
Yeah.
Not only that one, I love the Grinch. So, hello, hello, like
Don't stop now. Got more?
I always have more. Bada boom, bada bang.
You gonna send us off with a song?
Oh gosh. I have no idea. That was the one that was in my head was like, hello from the other side.
Oh,
I'm
that's
I'm
not
not in
the song
tune,
I
am I?
thought. I was thinking of the song, "Hello, is it me you're looking for?"
Oh, Gwen, yes. All right. I like
Or
that
Pink
one too.
Floyd. Isn't there a Pink Floyd "Hello"?
Oh, what is that one? The one with the wall was in my head the other day.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. Ah, but the
I'm done.
soundtrack isn't playing right now.
I know. I was checking into. I'm like, yeah, it's not playing.
I need those tiny triggers that then it pops in and only that segment though. And I'm like, what is the rest of that?
Yeah, there's
I'll have
mornings.
to go listen. I remember exactly who I went and saw that movie with because I saw that when it came out, Pink Floyd, The
Oh,
Wall. I was, yeah, long time ago.
yeah. I'm not gonna date. Oh, I will. I saw a couple of their concerts. I want to say it was the Animals album. Is
Could
that
have been.
is that the one? I,
Oh, I'm not sure.
I
Honestly,
wasn't I wasn't in a state of mind to remember lots of things other than it was a really good concert.
Michael's really good at like seeing somebody and going, oh, that's so and so, and they were in this. And I'm like, so I just go, who is that? That guy looks familiar, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
There's the Maroon. We don't even know. I don't know the guy's name. We just refer to him as the Maroon 5 guy.
oh, yes. Okay. I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
Well,
So,
my
but I do
dear,
know you.
it's a good thing. We know if we start slipping on that, it might be time.
It's time. Oh, wait. So yeah, never mind. There was some song, but it didn't come through. So I so appreciate spending time with you and everybody out there. I love you. I hope everybody has a beautiful week.
Yes, have a great week. We'll see you next Friday. Lots of love. Take care. See ya.